Cassidy, wave into the camera.
I'm a friendly listener.
You're a friend.
The United States has a population of roughly 350 million people, made up of diverse races, religions, languages, and almost any other factor that can separate two people. There are between 25 and 60 million people in the United States who admit to using marijuana even though it is illegal. That's potentially almost a fifth of the population of the United States. Before I begin, however, these sources provide me with information used in this speech. Wikipedia, the National Institute on Drug Abuse, the Partnership for a Drug-Free America, the Greater Dallas Council on Drug and Alcohol Abuse, Drug Policy Alliance, Business Week, Time Magazine, Alternate, Procon.org, Dictionary.com, Brainy Quote, and WebMD. The topic of this speech is one that I feel very strongly about, not because of my personal experiences, but because I was raised on the concept that if something was not working properly, you fix it so that it is. Hello, my name is Matthew Way, and today I'm going to speak to you about a very hot-button topic in modern times, the legalization of marijuana, and base it on these 3 points. That the war on drugs is failing, and that revenue could be made instead by taxing marijuana, that marijuana can be used for medicinal purposes if legalized, and that marijuana use is less harmful than alcohol or tobacco. According to Albert Einstein, a man whose genius has never been questioned, said that the definition of insanity was doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. The war on drugs by the United States government is the definition of insanity. The war on drugs is failing, and the United States government could make a lot of money instead by taxing marijuana. Those who are against the legalization of marijuana believe that the war on drugs is doing a large part in reducing the amount of marijuana used in the United States. Marijuana is, by definition, a preparation made from the dried flower clusters and leaves of the cannabis plant, and is usually smoked or eaten. The war on drugs itself is a prohibition campaign undertaken by the United States government, the most powerful government in the entire world, to reduce the illegal drug trade. Even with the efforts of the government, illicit drugs today are cheaper and purer than they were two decades ago, with 57% of the population reporting that marijuana is fairly easy or very easy to obtain. This is according to a survey by the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration. In a survey by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services in 1999, 90% of high school seniors said that marijuana was very easy to get. This unsuccessful war on drugs is costing American taxpayers $40 billion per year, money that isn't going towards education of the youth of tomorrow in the classrooms, or by way of government grants for college students, fixing our hurt economy, or our healthcare system, because that money is going towards fighting a battle that the United States government cannot seem to win. The average cost of a marijuana cigarette, or joint, is at an average of $5 per joint. Potentially, that could add up to $110 billion a year that the United States could be taxing as a commercial good. If the United States chose to legalize marijuana and tax it as a commercial good, with a tax equal to that of a tobacco cigarette, the government could take in up to $100 billion in new revenue. Adding that to the $40 billion a year that would not be spent on fighting this so-called war on drugs, this would yield a total amount of $140 billion per year that could go towards nursing our ailing nation. By legalizing marijuana and taxing legal businesses, we could take away from organized crime that reaps the profits and uses them to destroy communities and claim the lives all over our nation. This would ultimately lead to the result the government is aiming for, reducing the illegal drug trade. People are going to use marijuana regardless of whether or not it is illegal. Wouldn't it be better if the good guys were on the receiving end of this business, rather than those who use the profits for evil? But beyond the revenue that marijuana can earn the government, there are also beneficial uses that come from marijuana. Marijuana can be used for medicinal purposes if legalized. Marijuana is currently classified as a Schedule I drug by the Drug Enforcement Agency, meaning that according to the government, it's not considered legitimate for medicinal use. The active ingredient in marijuana is tetrahydrocannabinol, or THC for short, and is subject of all the discussion of the medical uses of marijuana. Those against the legalization of marijuana believe that there is no medical use for marijuana. This could not be further from the truth. There have been numerous studies linking marijuana and positive medical benefits. The Scripps Research Institute of California has research that showed that THC prevented the formulation of deposits in the brain associated with Alzheimer's disease more effectively than commercially marketed drugs. At Columbia University, they published a clinical trial in 2007 showing that HIV and AIDS patients who inhaled marijuana 4 times a day experienced substantial increases in food intake with little evidence of discomfort. Dr. Donald Abrams of the University of California at San Francisco found marijuana was effective at treating peripheral neuropathy, which causes great suffering into HIV and AIDS patients. While it's not a cure, it has been shown to give relief. Lester Grinspoon, medical doctor, a professor at Harvard Medical School, stated that for many patients, marijuana is more useful, less toxic, and less expensive than the conventional medicines prescribed for diverse syndromes and symptoms. These are just a few of the studies that have turned up possible medical benefits from using marijuana, benefits that are denied because marijuana remains illegal today. Think of the suffering that could be prevented and the ailments that could be cured if marijuana was legalized, and ask yourself if it is still worth keeping it illegal. Beyond use of marijuana as medicine, there are worries about using marijuana recreationally, and that marijuana use is dangerous. Marijuana is less harmful than alcohol and tobacco, both of which are legal in the United States today. Every year, the World Health Organization estimates that tobacco causes about 5 million deaths per year. 5 million. It has been quoted by the Center for Disease Control and Prevention as the single most preventable risk to human health in developed countries and an important cause of premature death worldwide. Cigarette smoke contains nicotine, a highly addictive chemical, and is also known to cause heart disease, stroke, lung cancer, bladder cancer, chronic bronchitis, early menopause, and stillborn babies, according to the National Institute on Drug Abuse. And all of that is available to you at $5 a pack at any convenience store around the United States. Alcohol, another completely legal substance, widely available in the United States, claims more than 100,000 American lives each year because of excess consumption. And nearly 14 million Americans meet criteria for being alcohol abusers, because alcohol, like tobacco, when used heavily, becomes very, very addictive. But also like tobacco, alcohol is widely available at the nearest convenience store and comes in almost every variation you can imagine. All of these deaths are related to the sole use of using tobacco or alcohol. They have no relation to accidents, they are simply from direct use. This is an important distinction because there has never been a single death attributed solely to marijuana use. This is because, as quoted from the United States Department of Justice, marijuana cannot induce a lethal response as a result of drug-related toxicity. Sure, marijuana isn't the best thing you can put into your body. Any type of smoke that is inhaled into your lungs is not a good thing. But typical marijuana users will smoke on average 1 marijuana joint per day. Typical tobacco users, on the other hand, will smoke 20 or more cigarettes a day. So why is it that 2 substances who kill over 5 million people a year total are legal, but a substance that has no recorded deaths and physically cannot kill someone is? It simply does not make sense. In conclusion, plain and simple, the fact that marijuana remains illegal and classified as a Schedule I drug is not the way this drug should be treated. The opposition fights a war on drugs that is simply ineffective, and we as a nation could use the revenue earned from selling and taxing marijuana to help rebuild our ailing economy, rather than funding a concept that is neither effective nor practical. Marijuana itself has been shown to do good as well, though, through its use in medicine, despite arguments from the opposition that marijuana has no medical value. And marijuana is less dangerous than products already available that are perfectly legal, the products being alcohol and tobacco. For these reasons, I believe that marijuana should not fall under Schedule I, but rather as a commercial and medical product that can do a great amount of good for our nation. Thank you.